Hello everybody and welcome back to Bigboiuniversity. Come on in and take a seat because I want to take you guys through some ongoing concerns that many people have had in the past when it comes to the future of video games. In a time where live service games seem to have taken over and it seems like it's that way or the highway, gamers that enjoy a AAA story beat with a linear structure are being left out to dry. Now, as much as it seems voluntary, there is plenty of evidence and motives for top developers to not release these mega AAA story titles like we once enjoyed back in the last generations of consoles. So, if you have some time to spare, I'd like to sit and take you through some of the very serious issues plaguing the developers that once made the games we loved some good time ago. Now, I want to start off by saying that obviously not all AAA games nowadays are of terrible quality. With that said, I also believe story games from AAA developers are not going anywhere anytime soon, at least as of now. What is leaving us is the quality, the passion, and for some, the funding. In order to not get too congested, we can tackle these problems one by one. In fact, I'm going to start off by listing some of the developers that are actually in a bit of a struggle as we speak, so you can kind of get the idea of what we're talking about. And you know what? I'm going to just go off and say the big hitter right now. And that one is Ubisoft. That's going to be the big topic of today. Ubisoft stock recently hit an all-time rock bottom September 20th of this year. And some might say, how is that possible if they're releasing and pumping out so many games? Like Star Wars Outlaws, Prince of Persia, and X-Defiant, as well as The Crew Motorfest. Now, these games aren't terrible, boring, but not unplayable. But here's the issue. Say Ubisoft keep releasing these mid-games for the next 5 years. The amount of bloating in their catalog just has to be studied at this point, if I'm being honest. Because the only thing they have delivered are these mediocre titles, instead of taking a little bit more time and releasing something that will genuinely knock your socks off, which in my opinion has not happened from Ubisoft in quite some time. I would argue since probably like Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, released back in like 2005, and Assassin's Creed 3, like the first couple ones, because Assassin's Creed has taken a sharp decline. And I just want to preface this, yes, I am that old. All right? I am very old. But nevertheless, thank you for Ubisoft Montreal for putting out that Splinter Cell banger. It's one for the history books, honestly. Unfortunately, the Ubisoft problems continue to arise as releasing a new title would usually mean stock rises as sales start to come in. Disappointingly for Ubisoft, every game they release seems to be digging them a bigger hole than the previous one they were just in. Dismally, some of the other studios dug themselves that exact same hole I'm talking about, but for them it was too much to handle. I'm talking about Arcane Austin, the developer of Deathloop. Volition, the developers of the most recent Saints Row. If you had the chance to play that Saints Row game, I hope that you're okay. And I hope you seeked medical attention afterwards, just like me. Because that game in and of itself tanked the whole operation there at Volition. The biggest problem in my eyes is just how much a AAA game costs to make in 2024. These games take a massive amount of funding to develop and market. If a company releases a game they thought they would rock the world with, and it underperforms in the market substantially, it's equivalent to drenching their studio in gasoline and then telling everyone to go in there and smoke a cigarette. It's just such a big risk for a company to take nowadays that's why most of them just don't take that risk to begin with. Now, I said earlier that games like passion. I'm actually going to explain what I mean by that. With earlier games like Uncharted and The Last of Us, yes, I know those are heavy outliers because those are some of the best games of our generation. These games had true passion. You could genuinely feel this the moment you switched on these games. And they genuinely wanted the player to have a great time playing it. One thing I would like to add is these games came out in an era where the objective was to turn the game out to the public on their said release date in a completed state. One of the biggest problems that I see in today's world is that companies can release an unfinished game to the entire planet and then say, we can patch and fix everything later post-launch, which in my opinion is probably the worst mindset you could possibly have as someone that develops video games. I think one of the biggest culprits here is CD Projekt Red and Cyberpunk. Sure, the game is amazing now, but just how long did it take for them to actually make the game playable and enjoyable? In my opinion, way too damn long. Which is sad to say because a lot of people pre-ordered the game for PS4 and PS5, waited an exorbitant amount of time to play this game like it was intended to play. Unless you were on PS4, then you never played this game like it was intended to play. Another big problem is that companies have to make ports for the last generation of consoles, because not everyone is fortunate enough to upgrade. I want to play devil's advocate here just a little bit because I have been blessed with an opportunity to get my hands on next-gen hardware, and to not be able to play the exclusive next-gen titles yet is a bit underwhelming, because as long as companies have to adjust for last-gen users, the next gen will never hit its full potential. I'm not going to say they should leave the last generation behind completely. I've been in the position where I haven't been able to buy the next gen console myself, and I appreciate the developers for considering the last gen users at all, because they really don't have to. But them putting games on last gen hardware also means we get shitty ports like Call of Duty Black Ops 3. If you don't remember what that game looked like, let me actually put it up on the screen real quick right now. And I'm also going to link a video to a creator that actually went and had a full deep dive on this, and I love every second of that video. I'm glad he dropped it as I was making this video so I could put that up on the screen right now. And if you want, you can go subscribe to him and like his video. Just let him know who sent you, I guess. In that video, he goes over the entirely disappointing experience that was the last gen version of Black Ops 3. And I hope we never get another port like that, but unfortunately, one day we will get another Black Ops 3 port to one of the future consoles, because that's just how developers have to be. They have to consider both next gen and last gen when a new gen gets released, because you lose a lot of money like that when you don't put games on the last gen console. It's just a lot of hoopla. But yeah, it just seems to be the case when it comes to that type of stuff. Guys, all the things I said in this video are really going to affect the studios that we actually know and love to this very day. At some point, a big company is going to take a hit that's way too hard to recover from, and we may never see them again. Which is why I like to push buying physical media. Buying games in physical form ensures that even when the company you like goes under, you can keep playing the game that you enjoy and that you bought. And also so we don't have another blunder that was Ubisoft and the crew. I'll be making a video on that in the future here shortly. So if you want to know what happens on with that, wait and stay tuned. With that being said, guys, that's enough of my rambling for today. If you're new to the channel here, press the like button, press the subscribe button, and if you stayed to watch the entire video, guys, I just want to say thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.